Today, we're going to answer the question you've all been asking. Chisgule, how much have you spent in Rise of Kingdoms, and was it worth it? We're going to break it down into all of the different things we've been spending on, including a very detailed breakdown for 2020. So stick around in this video to see exactly what kind of spend it takes to get an account that looks like this. Hello friends and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, a sponsored content creator for Rise of Kingdoms, and today we're going to showcase exactly how much we've spent and all the different things we've spent on to get to 163 million power in Rise of Kingdoms. If you like Rise of Kingdoms guides that help you get value and smash your enemies, then consider smashing that subscribe button for daily Rise of Kingdoms videos. This is a video I've actually been looking forward to making for a long time. We catalog all of our expenses because for me, running this channel, it is actually a business that I participate in, and I want to take this moment, especially in the holiday season, to emphasize that the most important things, although I'm no financial advisor, are probably saving for retirement, investing in your family, being able to have an emergency fund, getting out of credit card debt or not ever getting into credit card debt. That will all probably feel a lot more rewarding than spending in a mobile game. But if you have disposable income, here's where I've been spending mine and what I've been spending to build this business, which, again, for me, what I'm going to share with you is honestly a business expense. I do feel like I can cover this content so much better because I can actually showcase the end game and the top commanders and all the good stuff. Now, of note, in addition to being 163 million power, is that we have lost almost 12 million, mostly T5 troops. I would say the first couple million were T4, and after that, it's been all T5 troops. So that is a huge commitment to playing this game and the battlefield. My power will be much higher otherwise. We've got a pretty reasonable amount of kills up top here. That is a blend of T4 and T5 troops mostly. And we have spent an astonishing amount of time gathering resources. I mention all of this because when we showcase how much we've spent, we need to contextualize it in exactly how old the account is and what we've been doing. So this is an account that gets played very actively. It's 820 days old. So if we go in and we look, by the way, at our commanders, we have 26 expertise legendary commanders. We've got an additional 1,778 sculptures on hand that, yes, we plan to spend very soon. So subscribe if you want to see when I do that. In addition, we've got some really impressive equipment. Sure, it's not perfect. However, we've got some pretty good stuff lined up. A bunch of legendaries, a bunch of accessories, a lot of epics, many of them special talented. So to have an account with all these troops, with all this equipment, right, with all this stuff in it, what does it actually cost? I mean, let's jump right into the numbers, shall we? What you're looking at is a spreadsheet that I have created to actually add up literally every single thing I spent money on in Rise of Kingdoms and any mobile game I was playing over the course of the year. What I'm going to do now is showcase exactly how much I've spent each year I've been playing Rise of Kingdoms. Are you ready? What would you guess that I spent in 2018 when the game just came out? I started playing in the end of September, so it wasn't that long that I was playing. It took me like a month to get to T4 troops, I think. It was a slow progression for me. I was not spending much. In 2018, I spent a grand total of $549.43. In 2019, we ramped up our spending substantially. We ramped up our spending. If you had to guess, you could either write it down or put it in the comments how much you think that number was. That number is $15,709.67. Money we've spent. Now, when we entered into 2020, we upped our spending in game. And our budget that we allocated was $2,000 a month for Rise of Kingdoms spending. That is enough gems to be able to play all the events that come around and max spin pretty much every wheel, except the universal wheel. I find that rather lackluster compared to some of the other ones. So we gem pretty much every event. We've been gemming 2 of the legendary sets in the VIP shop, which actually was a substantial elevation of my sort of spending. I mean, I guess it's a little bit incremental, maybe not substantial, but it costs nothing, right? How much have we spent so far? in 2020 as we approach the end of the year. It's now the 21st of December. That number is a grand total of $22,835.31 on Rise of Kingdoms, an additional $1,237.26 on other games. That is a grand total of $39,094.41 on Rise of Kingdoms and $40,331 in total on all mobile games, which, yeah, that feels a little crazy, but again, that really helps me create content and I make that money back. Of course, seeing the grand total is an interesting number, but let's break it down. What the heck did you buy, Chisgule? We can break this down for you by all the different bundles, and we can break it down by categories. Let's start with the specific bundles that I have been purchasing and where the majority of my money goes, and I bet you my spend is probably not far off from what most whales do. Contained in this sheet as I scroll up is going to be a pivot table with every single one of the bundles I've purchased and the total amount of money spent on that bundle. So if I bought it multiple times, it'll show up as a grand total for the amount I've spent on that bundle. Let's cruise through this, and if you had to guess, where do you think most of that spending was? Where do you think most of that spending was? The lowest amount of spending I did was on the new equipment bundles that came into the game. These were all bundles that had some really amazing value in terms of the in-game stuff that you get for going through and getting some equipment milestones. The next bundle was the Vanquisher bundle, also an equipment bundle, relatively new. Every time you combine the blueprints for a legendary item, and it's the first time you've ever combined them for that item, you can spend $5, get 4 legendary materials. It's like a writer of history for equipment. It's very strong. I've picked that up every time it's come around. We also picked up 2 of the growth funds, once for our account that we shot up to City Hall 25 in like 5 hours, and once on probably my farm account. Up next is a district special. I actually don't know what this is. I wrote it down directly from what it was in the purchases in my Apple history. I don't know what that was. Cruising up, Fate Changer, $60. Fate Changer is generally pretty good value in terms of the amount of speed ups you get for the dollars you spend. Definitely, I would pick that up more if we saw it more. Cruising up, we then have the material supply. Nearly $100, by the way, on the material supply and $100 on Lucerne Scrolls. The material supply is honestly very good value for materials, and the Lucerne Scrolls is now good value for a lot of things that you can go and get. Cruising up higher, the next thing is city development. These are the special bundles you get offered when your city hall sits sort of certain milestones. In this case, that is all related to my powering up to see Heroic Anthem and to get to City Hall 25 again in that 5-hour window. The next most money we've spent in the game is on gems at $125. The first time you go and you purchase gems in each of those different tiers of purchase amounts, you actually get a lot of gems back. I think it might just be better than a lot of the bundles. Not the gem supply, but the bundles that you might spend $100 on, for instance. And the reason I say that is that raw gems are worth so much in this game because you can use them to get whatever you want, and you'll use them during events because you're an A+ big brain player, right? And that way you get even more value on top. So gems are really quite good. Up next, Writer of History, $150 on Writer of History. New commanders show up, legendary commanders, boom, we buy that Writer of History bundle for 10 extra universal legendary commander sculptures. Up next was King's Coronation. This was max purchasing King's Coronation to get our City Hall 25 account for Heroic Anthem. So there's some more of that money. RIP money. Up next, after King's Coronation, is the monthly special. So that's the bundle that showed up at the beginning of the month. It hasn't always been there every month, strangely, but it is often pretty decent value, especially when there's materials in there. I like to pick that up. Up next is VIP, $250 on VIP special privilege chests, in part on the account that we powered up, and in part probably on the account that we use our restart. I bet you a bunch of that VIP is from the restart account. So looking up to the next highest category, and it's going to go pretty steeply up and up in terms of how much I've spent on these different things, the gem subscription. This is the gem supply that you can get every day, 650 gems. I've spent almost $300 on that, $290 to be exact. I have a gem subscription running on a lot of accounts, my restart, my main account, my farm account, Yep, that's how that happens. Up next is the daily limited chests. These are the ones that have commanders. We were going for Mehmed for a time, Freddy, and some of those commanders. Getting the daily limited chest also got me a lot of action points. We purchased that a lot of times, $315 on that. Then there was the custom bundle. The custom bundle was awesome. Got a lot of materials out of that. I would do that again for sure. Kind of surprised that has not come around. Then at the next highest tier, the Osiris League bundle, another bundle we have max purchased, primarily in that for the speed ups. Up next is the New World bundle, $745 that Chisgule Gaming has spent on passports. Passports, people, the ability to play in the kingdom I want to play in with 3 different accounts, $745 on that. Up next is the Lost Kingdom Healing Bundle. This showed up this year as a relatively new bundle. I actually maybe shouldn't have bought this because I have plenty of healing speed-ups and I can't imagine I'll ever get through them. But $770 on healing speed-ups and a few universals contained within that as well. The next most expensive thing we've spent on is Heroic Anthem. So Heroic Anthem is certainly pulling down some big money. $1,375.55 on crystals for Heroic Anthem. And our grand total of Heroic Anthem's expenses is actually much higher when you factor in, the account where we spent about $750 to get to City Hall 25 just to look at it in advance of our main account even being able to play it. But we've spent on some bigger categories here, people. It's going to escalate real fast here. Hammer and Anvil. This was the bundle that existed before Geared Up, before Suiting Up, and that's $1,664.55 on the Hammer and Anvil. Above that, it's called Festival Special in the receipts in the Apple Store, however. That is all of the events throughout the year, Valentine's and Thanksgiving, every one of those events added together, that all counts as Festival Special in the receipts. $3,604.18. So holiday events, big category of spending for me. And I'm sure for a lot of people too, because recharge events show up, and that's a pretty good time in terms of value to be spending in the game. However, the thing we've spent the most on, and you might be guessing what these 2 things are if we scroll up. Are you ready for this? Suit Up, the newest version of the equipment bundle, replacing the Hammer and Anvil H&A. $4,993.65 on equipment and a small amount of speed ups right there. Boom. Mic drop. A lot of money. $5,000 on equipment. Technically $6,600, but you get the idea. The category or bundle we've spent the most on in Rise of Kingdoms is the Call of the Ancients. $6,653.90, baby. Call of the Ancients. It's got reserves, it's got expansions, it's got speed-ups galore, including healing and regular. It's a pretty solid bundle that shows up every other week, and yeah, we've spent a lot of money on that bundle. There was even a window of time, I don't think you can do this anymore, where you could purchase the bundle twice in a single week, which is kind of crazy. So we've spent a lot of money on the Call of the Ancients. Now, this is an interesting way of slicing this all up, but I actually have a better way of looking at this that puts all of this information, all these different bundles into categories. What did we spend on equipment? What did we spend on speed ups? What did we spend on Heroic Anthem? Let me show you. With our 2020 spending, grand total of $22,835.31, the category that we spent the least on was just gems. Things that got us huge amounts of gems. Our gem subscription, raw gems, the growth fund, and that is $445.65. That made up nearly 2%, only 2% of my total spending in Rise of Kingdoms. The next highest tier is Commanders, $635.52 on things related to Commanders. That is not quite 3% of my total budget. Looking into that, that's the daily limited chests, Writer of History, Lucerne Scrolls, VIP Pioneer of History. Actually, I think Pioneer of History is actually equipment, so maybe that's miscategorized, but okay, close enough. The next category is passports. The New World Bundle, people. $745 to play in the kingdoms of my choice. Up next, by the way, that's 3.26% of my total budget, 3.25. Up next, and things are going to escalate quickly, 6% of our total spending has been on Heroic Anthem. Keep in mind that Heroic Anthem just happened. It's not even over yet. And we've already spent in like a couple weeks, 6% of our total spend in Rise of Kingdoms for the year in Heroic Anthem. Wow. Yeah, a lot of spending happening in Heroic Anthem. Looking to the next highest tier, and by the way, that's just purely crystal bundles. That does not include the $750 we used to get the City Hall 25 account. Up next, and this is going to be a big category, equipment. 32% of our budget in Rise of Kingdoms has gone toward equipment. $7,311.77. Here is everything from the equipment category. Big spend on that category. Big spend on equipment. Oh, but there's more. The big winner here. The big winner of my spending. Are you ready? It's speed ups, baby. 53.96. So 54% of my total spend on bundles related to speed ups. Trying to get troops, being able to win events, and that is $12,322.47 that Chisgule has spent primarily on speed ups. The bulk of that, of course, being Call of the Ancients. About 30% of my total spend in Rise of Kingdoms was Call of the freaking Ancients holiday bundles, rounding in at about 16% of my total spend in the game. Crazy. Here is that whole table put together. Pivot tables are a magical thing, my friends, and there you have it. The total amount of money that Chisgule Gaming has spent in Rise of Kingdoms. Again, I want to emphasize that you should prioritize your family, and for me, weirdly enough, spending in Rise of Kingdoms and creating lots of content and working as a content creator, which, yeah, it's work, people. It really is. Go get to 1,000 or 10,000 subscribers and tell me it wasn't work. Tell me that wasn't work. Then we can chat. But until that time, it's a lot of work making content, and I appreciate having each and every one of you on this journey with me. It's been a crazy year. It's been an amazing year. You know what? It's been pretty incredible getting to 100,000 subscribers. We've still got to do our huge 100,000 subscriber bash with the big giveaways and all this cool stuff. It's coming. It's planned. There's just so much going on right now with Heroic Anthem. It's a little crazy, but we'll celebrate, people. We've done some pretty amazing stuff when I look at the year in review, and maybe we'll in another video spend some time thinking about this, but we've been really upping our game, as you may have noticed, with the scenes we've created. If I make my iPad disappear for a second, right? Like, we're investing in being able to create some really amazing content for you. Here's the War Room, right? The War Room. And I look forward to what we're going to do together in 2021. This spending that we shared with you today, by the way, is just the Rise of Kingdoms spending that we've done. I've spent probably about $10,000 this year on equipment for content creation alone, right? Now, you may be wondering, Chisgule, what will your spending look like in 2021? For me, about $2,000 a month seems to let me do everything I want to do in the game. I can war like crazy. I can do all of the events. That will be my budget going into 2021, probably about $2,000 a month. We'll keep it there. And let me just add one more thing. I thought I'd do this as I was editing the video, and some bloke is going to come along and be like, well, Chisgule, Lilith just reimburses everything you spend, right? No. That's my money that I have earned and I have spent, and I've earned the right to do that as a expense to my business. I get paid to make some small amount of videos for Rise of Kingdoms. I make way more than is required as a part of that situation, and that is because I love playing this game, and I enjoy making that content every single day. Often now it seems like 2 videos a day. It's been really crazy. So that's the situation there. That money that I've spent, I do make money by being a sponsored content creator, but it is not reimbursed. That's not how that works. I work, I get paid, I spend it, and that's my call. You do the same thing when you work too. And again, get to that 10,000 subscriber mark and you tell me that's not work. Oh, just wait till you have haters. That'll be fun. That'll be real fun. And to be super clear, I'm a sponsored content creator, but not an employee of Lilith. Just thought I'd spell that out in case anybody's getting confused. With that said, what did you think of this video? Is that a crazy amount of money to be spending in a mobile game? For us, it's work. It's crazy, but it's truly a business expense. And I want to emphasize that because I don't think that for most people, this is an amount of money that they could afford to spend in a mobile game. So please be wise with your finances. Again, I'm no financial advisor, but hiring one might not be a bad idea. If you enjoyed this video, do me that huge favor of throwing a like on here, subscribing to the channel for daily Rise of Kingdoms videos, because we are in Kingdom versus Kingdom right now. We just had an absolutely insane battle versus Ark of Osiris Season 2 champions, Hong Kong Legends, HKL, in this zone right over here. We have been victorious. All the card up in the top if you want to see that live stream. It was amazing and fun, and we've got more footage from that coming very soon, where HKL basically swarmed everything we had, and it was insane. I was asleep, but ooh, the footage is savage. Until next time, my friends, you have fun smashing the kingdom.